AI-powered text generation is transforming how content is created. From blog writing to email automation, AI can generate high-quality, human-like text in seconds. In this video, we will be working on Project 2, AI-based text generation with DeepSeek AI. Now, first question is, why use AI for text generation? One, it saves times. It automates content creation for blogs, emails, and reports. It boosts creativity. It gets AI generated ideas and outlines. Improves productivity. It helps you automate responses, product descriptions, and documentation. Customizable output. You can fine tune AI responses for tone, style, and structure. Some of the common use cases include blog writing. AI generated articles and content suggestions are on the rise. Email writing. Draft professional emails using AI. Product descriptions. Generate e commerce product descriptions through AI. AI storytelling. Write creative stories or scripts. And then finally, chatbot conversations. You can automate all your chatbot replies. Now, how does AI based text generation work? DeepSeek AI uses a large language model LLM to predict and generate text based on a given prompt. Example can be simple text generation, where you provide an input prompt like write a short story about a time traveling scientist. And the AI output looks something like this. Dr. Eleanor Carter has finally cracked the time travel equation. With the press of a button, she found herself in ancient Egypt standing before the Great Pyramid, and so on. Now, DeepSeek AI understands context and generates text accordingly. Let's look at setting up the AI text generator. Let's build a Python script to generate this AI powered content. First step, we'll be looking at installing dependencies where we will install request and gradio, which we did in the previous project too. So if you already did, you can skip this step. Step 2 is to create a Python script. I'll write a text generator.py file where I will add code to generate text. And finally, we'll go ahead and run the script. So let's go ahead and implement this. I've already created a project 2 folder for this on my desktop. Here, if you see DeepSeek, I have project 2 which is empty. I'm opened it in my Sublime Text in my IDE, and here we'll create our code. But again, if you're coming here directly and skip previous steps, I'm going to go ahead and show you pip install request and gradio. So that's what I need. And once it's installed, I'm going to go ahead, clear this, go here inside project 2, I'll create a new file. I'll save this file as text underscore generator.py. So I call my py file, and inside here I'll first start with importing requests. Next step, I'll import gradio as gr. I'm going to use that a little later. Next, my DeepSeek API URL, same as before. I'm running my Olama client right now, and that runs on localhost 11434 API generate. That's my generation API for Olama. Next, I'm going to say create a function, the generate text function, and it takes two different parameters. First is prompt, the prompt that we provide, and next is the word limit of how many words do I want. If user doesn't specify, or whoever calls this function doesn't specify the word limit, I'm setting it default to 100. Next, I'm going to give a comment here saying use this DeepSeek AI to generate text based on the given prompt for this particular function's explanation. You don't have to do this. Next, I'm going to say full prompt equal to generate a response within these many word limit words, and this is the prompt. Next, I'm going to say payload, same as before, model equal to, I'm going to say model that I'm using is DeepSeek R1, prompt is the full prompt that we have here, and then stream equal to false because I don't want the entire thing in a stream. I want everything in one single response. So I'm going to create a response variable, and I'll say request dot get, give the URL, this one, to generate prompts, and I'll give the payload which has the prompt inside it as the parameter. Now once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and check if response.status code equal to 200. I'll say return response.json.get check if there is a response parameter inside response. So response gives you key value pairs, and one of them will be response. If it doesn't exist, I'm going to say no content was generated. Else, if there was an error, I'll say return error and pass the response text out. Next step is running the generate text function. So I'm going to go ahead here and say if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to underscore underscore main, I'll say prompt equal to write an introduction for an article about the future of AI. That's my prompt. That will be added, sent here. To send here, I'll say first print AI generated content, and I'll say print generate text. I'll call this function and pass this prompt. I'm okay with 100 word limit, so I'm going to leave it as it is. And that's about it. Now to run this script, which is a step 3, I'm going to go open this and I'll say Python text generator.py. Run it. It's going to take a few seconds and it's going to call this function, go to Olama, use DeepSeek R1 as the model and generate the text and give it to me back here. And there you go. It took a few seconds. It thought about what I wrote right here inside the think tags. And then it says, the world has witnessed unprecedented advancement in artificial intelligence over the past decade with technologies ... So it gave me this 100 word limit text that was generated by DeepSeek R1. So there you go. That's our project. Success. DeepSeek AI is now generating text for us. Perfect. So that brings us to our next topic, which is creating a web app for AI text generation. So we have created something this for summarization in the first project. Now let's build a Gradio web interface to make text generation interactive. Now how do I do that? Again, using the same Gradio interface. To do that, I'm going to go here, go back to the code, comment this out here, and above here, say create Gradio interface. Here I'm going to create the interface again by saying gr.interface, and inside that give the 5 parameters: function equal to generate text, inputs equal to gr.text box, lines equal to 3, placeholder, enter your prompt here. This is like the prompt that we have in let me open DeepSeek. Like when I say start now here, this is the text box that I'm actually creating here. So I'm saying gr.slider 50 500, step equal to 50, label equal to word limit, slider, so I can slide along depending on how many words I want, output equal to text, and I'll say title equal to AI powered text generator, and I'll give a description, enter a prompt, select word limit and generate AI return content. Close this, and then to launch the web app, I'll say if name equal to main, I'll say interface dot launch. That's pretty much it. Go back here, clear this out, run the project. It's going to give me a URL. I'm going to copy this, open my Chrome, paste it here, and there you go. We have our prompt here. This is the description that we specified right here. And if you see, the title is AI powered text generator added here, and to the title I have everything available. Output will be here. I'm going to say tell me about DeepSeek AI, and word limit I can set how many I want. On here it shows right here for 400 characters. So once I say that, 400 words per this particular prompt, and it's going to go call that, and it's processing. If you see here, it shows me how many seconds it's going to take to get that data. I'm going to wait for a little while, and there you go. It took some seconds, and then it thought about it, and then gave me kind of description about what DeepSeek is, what all things that it knows about it. It may specifies stuff over here. Perfect. So that kind of worked perfectly. Now this is done. Next thing, enhancing the AI generator. Now we'll be controlling the writing style. Now we can modify prompts to adjust the tone. We'll look at three different types of tone. We'll look at adding a regenerate button. How can we add a regenerate button? And then we'll look at multi-language support. Next, we're going to look at deploying it as an API, as a web service or an API that will be available, which we can test using Postman. So I'm going to go back here. So first thing that I mentioned was controlling the writing style. So now there's 3 different types. You can have a casual tone, you'll have a professional tone, or you can have a creative tone. So for that, you can go ahead and where do we have here? We had text here, generate a response within these many words. Here, if you want to make it more casual, you can say write a friendly introduction to AI. You can professional by saying explain AI's impact on business in formal tone. For creative, you can say write a sci-fi short story about AI in 2050. So it will try to be creative and give you some answer. Now, if you want to add a regenerate button, I already have the Gradio interface here. Inside this, I have generate text. Inputs equal to, we have this. We have slider. Next, I can go ahead and say gr dot button, and this button is regenerate. So this button will make sure that it will regenerate the same data again, or call it again, and then give regenerate the text based on the prompt. Next, you can do, as I said, multi-language support. Now, to do multi-language support, you can go here inside the prompt, full prompt, and say write a particular language. I can just say, for example, I can say write a whatever language is passed. Let's say language is English by default. I'm setting that as English, but whatever language is passed, I can say dash language uh, text to generate a response within, something like this, and it will use that to show display you data based on that language. So I'm going to get rid of this for now, or actually leave it as it is, so you can get idea of how to do this. So that's our entire thing. Next thing, as I mentioned, deploying it as an API. Usually what I do is I create a different, I from our project one, you've seen that we can use fast API for API based text generation, where we can install fast API and UVCon. So I can go here, close this, clear it out, and I can say pip install fast API UVCon. Okay, so that's done. Once that is available, next thing I'm going to go ahead and say create a new file, save it as app.py. That's our project. And then inside here, I'll start with importing fast API from fast API. I'll say import request. Now app equal to fast API. This is how you create a fast API. Again, our URL for generation was this one. So I'm going to say Olama URL http localhost 11434 slash API slash generate. Then I'll say app.post generate. Every time there's an API call, say generate text prompt string word limit int equal to 100. That's our set. Payload model DeepSeek R1. Prompt is generate word limit words for this prompt stream equal to false. It's a response request dot post Olama URL JSON payload. And I'll say return response.json.get response no content generated. Now to run this, I can just use this code UVCon app colon app dash dash reload. You can go here, run this, and now that is available as in, it says app not found. Oh, I think I forgot to save it. Okay, and as soon as I saved it, it reran it and it worked perfectly fine. So I can take this URL and now I can go to Postman, create a new request here. I'll say post, and if you remember, the URL endpoint is slash generate. So go use that here, slash generate slash, and here parameters that I can set here is I can say prompt is write an introduction on AI, and I can also give word underscore limit is around, let's say 150, and then send. It's going to make that post request. It's going to call this API that is running right now. I can probably see that, yeah, the request came here and it says unprocessable. Oh, I think this was, I just pressed it before. It's actually processing it right now. It's going to call that and give us some data back. And there you go. It took a few seconds. As you can see, 23.27 seconds, 200 OK response status, and I have my data displayed here. And as you can see, it says it was all good and was sent back. So there you go. It worked perfectly fine. I hope you were able to follow along and build this app and the API. If you had any issues or questions, let me know in the messages and I'll get back to you. Now, just to go over the project or video that we did today, we built a working AI powered text generator. We created a web app for generating content. We explored prompt engineering and style control. We learned how to deploy the generator as an API. And now to look forward, In our next chapter, we'll do grammar and spell checker, where we can detect and correct errors in the text that is provided. So stay tuned.